It's the podcast built to last. The podcast, we're having a blast. It's the podcast, we're back for more. The podcast, where we settle the score. Season 3 is now upon us. Forget the others, get on our bus. Week to week, there could be discussed. Hoping our squads are not a bust. The rhythm, the rhyme are here each week, bringing you the news along with a beat. We don't like dreaming about getting paid. We focus on the podcast and the rhymes we made. The episodes are test to see if we got pull. Stating facts, bringing a mouthful. A shout out to Eric B for keeping us fresh in what separates us from the rest. Now it's time to make our impression felt. Sit back, relax, strap on your seatbelt. You never been on a ride like this before. With the captain of the deal, picking the scores. We start to think, and then we sink into the paper like we were ink. Writing lyrics, his and mine. The product is in our rhyme. We know very well who we are. Can't hold us down, reaching for the stars. We have a goal, stay out of the way. Be gold in the booth are now in play. It's the podcast, built to last. The podcast, we're having a blast. It's a podcast, we're back for more. The podcast, where we settle the score. It's the podcast, built to last. The podcast, we're having a blast. It's a podcast, we're back for more. The podcast, where we settle the score. One more verse to go. On and on with the show, the real deal. We'll challenge the flow while we gold is bringing the know. Captain Booth is always on point. His jams will rock this joint. His creativity is second to none. The style, the flair, he's having some fun. Then there's the gun behind the scenes, doing the edits, keeping it clean. This team, they won't be beat, bringing the fun facts to the street. Poems and briefings on any week, another way to bring the speak. Vikings and Hawks are who we like. At the end of each show, we drop the mic. The podcast, built to last. The podcast, we're having a blast. It's a podcast, we're back for more. The podcast, where we settle the score. It's the podcast, built to last. The podcast, we're having a blast. It's a podcast, we're back for more. The podcast, where we settle the score. Be gold, I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Damen und Herren, it's time for the podcast featuring Captain Vuk and Billy Gold, aka The Real Deal. This is the only place that's talking Hawks and Kings, but to be specific, we're talking Seattle Seahawks and Minnesota Vikings. So strap up. We're taking you on a fantastic voyage, unlike any you've ever been on, so sit back and get ready to set sail to the emerald-rich lands of the Seattle Seahawks and the treasure-filled valleys of the Minnesota Vikings with your hosts, Captain Vuk and Billy Gold, aka The Real Deal. Let's get it.
I love the new opening.
No doubt.
It is on point.
Flawless, baby. Flawless.
When we're going to keep changing it up, keep evolving,
Why not?
That's what we do.
We made a promise. We got to keep it.
Hey, football fans. Hey, 12s. And, of course, the Scolders, who are in a little depressed mode right now. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of the Captain and the Real Deal podcast. I'm Billy Gold, B Gold, along with Captain Book.
Back on the mic.
And the Maverick, our production engineer, Mike Top Gun Cruz. We got to extend your nickname somehow. I'm going to come up with something. We got another great episode in store for you today, so I suggest you fill up your solo cup. I prefer the yellow one. Yellow's a nice color.
Not bad. Not bad.
Sit on back, relax, and get ready for another lakeside fantastic voyage. Hey, Cap! You ready to roll?
The Cap is in the building, ready to roll as always, baby. Week 2's in the books. We got a lot to talk about. We got Hawks and Kings and things like that. So, be gold. Jump into the ocean and let's swim.
All right, let's get right to it and start today with a recap of what our teams did in week 2. There's going to be some positive and there's going to be some negative. We're going to start out with the negative. That's the Vikings.
Let's do it.
And then we'll get to the positive, which will be the Seahawks. All right, first half. The Eagles, they drew first blood in this one, getting on the board courtesy of a 24-yard field goal to go up 3-0 on their opening possession. The two teams, they then exchanged punts, but Brandon Paul, our punt returner, fumbled on the return at the Eagles' 30-yard line. Wow. Gave up a big opportunity, gave Philly the ball back. The Vikings revamped defense. They got a turnover, a pick. Pass was intended for Devontae Smith, and Theo Jackson jumped in and took the ball at midfield. What did Minnesota do with that? They followed that up with the very next play with an Alexander Madison fumble.
That was painful.
Fumble. And we'll talk more about the fumbleitis that's plaguing the Minnesota striking Vikings.
No, that's not good.
Fortunately, no damage was done as Elliott missed a 55-yard field goal for the Eagles. It sailed wide to the right. The Vikings got themselves some good field position and got on the scoreboard, and the first lead of the night, moving the ball 50 yards and getting into the end zone on a 5-yard pass from Cousins to T.J. Hawkinson, 7-3, Vikes.
Earning that money.
Eagles, they took the lead right back on the ensuing possession, courtesy of Hurts. He ended it with a 1-yard sneak after a long drive that saw the Eagle call nothing but run plays. We had three linemen, a bunch of safeties. We were challenging them to run, and you know what they did? They ran right down the field and took a 10-7 lead right before the 2-minute warning. Vikings responded. Cousins has been money on these first two.
He's been good.
He's a top 3 quarterback in these first 2 weeks, according to the AP, Associated Press. Anyway, on the verge of tying the score, Jefferson trying to get into the end zone, extends the ball, loses it, rolls out of the end zone, resulting in a touchback. And that's 2 games in a row that the Vikings had 3 turnovers in the first half, and it cost them an opportunity to go into the locker room with the lead. Eagles took advantage of that with a little time left on the clock, and they made a 61-yard field goal to go up 13-7 at the half.
So their kicker was making field goals.
Yeah, he's a pretty good kicker.
Well done.
Second half, Vikings got the ball first start, second half, and it took them just 2 plays to turn the ball over for a 4th time.
How are you feeling right about then? Happy or sad?
We'll get to that later. I have a different mindset this year, and we'll get to that later. Cousins was strip sacked by the Eagles, and they recovered it inside the Minnesota 10-yard line. 2 plays later, another sneak from Hurts, who's just a
a QB sneak monster, and they're up 20-7. And I'm going, oh boy, Eagles are a good team. We got a revamped defense. Offense is clicking, but we're not out of it. But it seems to me it could be one of these high-scoring games. Philly, what do? They score on their next possession as well, as Hurts found Devontae Smith again after 63 yards drive to make it 27-7. Less than 5 minutes into the second half, 27-7. But you know what? I've seen this script before. I was at the game where we came back from 33-0 against the Colts last year.
Yep.
And we won. So keep hope alive.
Message to the community. Yes.
The Vikings, they kept on fighting, and Cousins found rookie Jordan Addison for a 62-yard touchdown. That's 2 touchdowns in 2 games for Mr. Addison, and it cut it to 27-14 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Vikings then cut into the lead even further about midway through the fourth quarter as Cousins hit a wide-open KJ Osborne, who, by the way, had a couple more drops this week, for his 3rd touchdown pass of the night for Cousins. This one a 10-yarder, making it 27-21. We are back in business.
That's it. Got to stay in the game. Stay competitive.
So, what do we do? The Vikings on the next defensive stand? The Eagles take over, and as they did all night long, they dominated on the ground, handed the ball repeatedly and getting chunks of yardage. Swift broke a 43-yard run to put the ball in goal-to-go territory, and he took it in from there for a 2-yard score. 34-21 Eagles with 4 minutes left. Vikings, I will say about them this year and last year under the new coach, they don't quit.
Oh, no.
They don't quit. And they got a lot of offensive weapons. Vikings went down the field and made it a 1-score game again. Cousins to Hockenson again. This time 4 yards, 34-28 with just over a minute remaining. The Vikings went for an onside kick, but it was unsuccessful, and the Eagles ran out the clock. Eagles are, they were in the Super Bowl last year. They're a very good team. I thought we played them on the road very good. We don't have those turnovers in either of the weeks. I think we had a possibility to be 2-0. We are not. That's okay. So just some final thoughts. It's just one final thought. The Vikings have already lost 6 fumbles this year.
Uncharacteristic of your team.
Can't do that.
No.
So Cap, that's what I got for the Vikings. I'm going to turn it over to you for an exciting, for you anyway, Seahawks recap.
Before we do that, I just got to ask, why is it that the other squad was able to get their running game going and your team didn't seem as committed to getting that young man Madison going in the running game? What is the deal there? I know you were upset about the O-line. You had made a comment about last week acquiring some help that you felt like could help you.
Yes.
Perhaps that'll be something touched on later, but we already know, everybody that's ever played football knows that the ground game and the trenches, the line of scrimmage, that's where the games are won and lost.
So they're quick to blame Madison. However, when we get to the outside the box with the real deal, we will explain the numbers.
It's coming.
We will give you the data.
It's coming.
Let's get to the Seahawks recap because I know you're pumped to get in the win column.
Yes, I am. It's about time. We started the game 0-1. Fired up, going on the road, had to try to stay focused against a feisty Detroit Lions squad. We were the underdogs. We were expected to lose, Top Gun. We knew that going in. So we said, you know what? We got to go anyway. Like I said, lift extra weights, watch extra film, study your opponent like Bruce Lee suggests, and let's see what we can get done. So as always, Detroit wins the toss. They defer, which I think is insulting if you're an offensive player, that they want to see your offense right out the gate.
It happens all the time. They want the
it
second
does.
half kickoff. Come on.
I'm looking for an edge. I'm trying to give them an edge. So they kick it off to us. Of course, it's a touchback. We get the ball, of course. Geno Smith is at the helm. We got our weapons in play. The beautiful thing about this is that it ends up being a touchdown drive right out the gate. 12-play drive, I believe it was. Seahawks on the board 7-0. Nice start on the road. The Motor City crowd quiets down just a little bit. But out comes Jared Goff and the Detroit Motor City Lions, head by that fearless coach Dan Campbell, who doesn't like ever punting.
Or kicking field goals.
And let's find out if that comes back to haunt him. Let's find out.
Yes.
So they get the ball 7 plays later on a nice 75-yard drive. Bam, they're back on the board. Now it's knotted up 7-7. Here we go. Shades of last year's shootout or not. We get the ball back. We have a good 5-play drive. We collect 14 yards and have to punt, B Gold. You know how that makes me feel, especially early in the game on the road. So it is what it is. We kick the ball off to them. They punt. We punt it. Takes them 12 plays to get 57 yards, and then they end up punting. So I'll take that. So we get the ball back. Still in the first quarter. We have an 8-play drive. 42 yards later, we are in what we believe is field goal position. We roll out Jason Myers. Had a happy year last year. This year, let's talk about it.
Blair Walsh
Missed the kick. Now I'm heated. And I'm just mad because I'm like, we need 3 points. We need everything we can get.
How long was the kick?
That one was... It was a 45-yard field goal.
45 yards.
Well within his range.
You should make that.
And he is a professional. You got no wind conditions to complain about. You're inside of a dome.
45 and under, you should make it.
Right. And
An
then
extra. What is an extra point? It was an extra point like 30 and 28.
What? The
If you do an extra point,
I think it's 25.
25,
I think they pushed it
28,
back to
yeah.
15, I think. But don't quote me. Maybe that's a follow-up.
open item.
So now we're down 7-7 still. We missed the field goal. Could have went up. They get the ball back 5 plays later. They chew up 85 yards. There's a 65 yards and a touch. So now it's not what we want. But it is what it is. That's the hand you're dealt. We get the ball back. We run 8 solid plays, B Gold. And then we have to punt. So now you know how this goes or how it can go. That's all right. The defense is trying to figure themselves out. We got some things going on. We kick it off to them in the punt. They get 3 plays. They're out of there. I like that. So it's still 7-14. Detroit's up. We punt. We get the rock back. Seahawks start a 6-play drive. Some good things happening inside of it. We get ourselves to the Detroit 38. 56-yard field goal attempt by Jason Myers. He comes in wide left.
You can't hang him. You can't hang him. You got to get closer.
Now-
56 is a lot.
Now I'm boiling.
56 is a lot.
I'm boiling.
56 is a lot.
It is, but he's a professional, right? That's all he does.
It should be 50 or less.
There's no wind.
You should
The
make.
snap was beautiful. The hold was fantastic. He should have got the rock in there. But anyway.
Jason Myers was frightened.
Well, after halftime he was, but we're going to talk about that. So the Lions get the ball back after this missed field goal, and then they have 1 play, and they end up losing a fumble. The young man Love from the Giants that we acquired comes up and rocks their guy right before half. We recover the punt or the fumble, but it goes to halftime.
Yeah. Inconsequential play.
Yeah. So at halftime, something bizarre happens.
Yeah.
You know-
Do you think you called me to make sure the real deal called Jason Myers?
I called you to see if you could give me the real deal's number because he's unlisted.
He is unlisted.
I got a hold of the real deal, and he was like, "Yo, was that you?" I'm like, he's like, "Who else could it be?"
You heard of the bat phone. This is the real deal phone.
This is the real deal phone. So I asked the real deal, "Yo, man, can you go on a quick ride before halftime's in? Can you get to Detroit before halftime's in? So I need you to talk to my kicker."
Yeah, so what he did was he used the what's the Star Trek community
Warp drive.
Yes, that's how you.
Drive.
Not warp drive. When you stand in that thing and they
Oh, the transporter.
yes, he got transported out to the stadium.
That's even faster.
Yes.
So I got some audio of what happened when the real deal got there. And so we want to share with the audience kind of what happened. So again, this is halftime. It's almost over. All the players are out on the field except for some weird reason, Jason Myers. So, the door closes. Captain Vuk says, "What's up, Jason? How you doing, man?" And Jason's like, "Listen, I know I missed a couple of field goals in the first half. That's not good enough." I tell him, "Listen, you missed 2 field goals in this game. Last week, you missed a field goal, and you're barely making PATs. And you had no reason. You signed your contract right down the middle with your dotted line on your extension. So we need this to stop." And then right when he says, but Cap, Real Deal went to work for some reason. I didn't know this was going to happen. I'm like, Jason, bro, we wouldn't be here if we didn't love you, man. We need you to come through.
Sounds like love to me.
This is tough love right here. So Jason, dusts himself off. We dust him off. Hey, that's enough. That's enough, RD. Real Deal, you good? So we teleport back to the house, and then the second half kicks off. And let's see if that had any impact at all.
Wow. So wait. Jason Myers sent an email afterwards, and what he said was,
I should have picked him up on fantasy?
No, yes! He said this is a direct result of you not picking me up on fantasy. He says, you know what? I told you payback would be, and here
serious.
It is.
So apparently
you disrespected him. So he brought it back to you.
Apparently the defense is a big fan of the Real Deal, so they got wind of what happened because they were mad at Jason too, but they could not do that. So the very first play after we come out of half, Uchenna Nwosu, and announcers, can you get my guy's name right? Did you hear what he was saying?
No.
He was not pronouncing it correctly. It's Nwosu. Uchenna Nwosu catches David Montgomery with the ball, and this absolutely becomes a significant, you know what time it is, first one of the season, Bam Bam time. This was the Bam Bam moment of the day. Beginning of the second half, 15 minutes to go, fresh period. Let's see what happens with this Seahawk defense. Jared Goff hands off the rock to David Montgomery. Bow! He gets blasted by Uchenna Nwosu. The ball comes out. Everybody's scrambling for it, but only big Jarran Reed gets it. Now watch this. He slides to the right, bounces the guy over, and the tight end can't stop Uchenna. David, you got to hold on to the ball. But that's not our problem. That's the Lions' problem. Nwosu does his job, holds the edge. Jarran Reed scoops up the rock. Turnover. Let's go. All right, back to the game. That was a momentum changer. The Seahawks get the rock, and 2 plays later, guess where we are? We're in the end zone with the K. Walker touchdown. Of course, we kick the ball off to the Lions, and they get it right back. 9 plays later, 75 yards, touchdown. It's 21-14, Detroit. This is becoming a significant situation. Now we get the rock back. We get into a 12-play drive, still in the third quarter. B-goal, we get ourselves in the field goal position. We know what happened to Jason. He had a physical conversation with some people at halftime. He comes out. It's a 25-yarder chip shot. It's good right down the center. Jason and the Real Deal take credit for that kick.
So wait, we could actually figure out where the extra point is, because 25 is usually a 7-yard hold, right? So 7-yard hold, that's the 18 to the 8-yard line, 8, 18, 25, something. So
I think they moved it back 10 yards though.
Yeah, so it could be like a 20. It could be like a 25-yard. You might be right. It might be 25, like you said earlier.
So we'll run through the rest of these real quick to get you to the most critical piece of this game. Detroit gets the rock back. 6 plays later, they turn it over on downs because that guy likes to go for it on 4th down, and he didn't make it. He tried it 3 times. He was successful once. Big ups to the defense. Seahawks get the rock back. 9 plays later, and 45 yards later, Seahawks find themselves in the end zone with a nice tutty from Geno Smith to the young fella, the most polished receiver in the NFL, Tyler Lockett. It's 31-21. Now, this is where it gets, actually it's 24-21. Seahawks take the lead. Now, Jared Goff gets back in his pocket. He feels like he wants to roll. 5 plays later, it's a 4th down. Guess what he does? No, it's 2nd and 15, and guess what he does? It's the 4th quarter. He throws an interception to Trey Brown that he runs back 40 yards to the crib. Not quite a house moment, but he takes it to the crib, gets the Seahawks up 31-21. Now, Detroit gets the rock back. 10 plays later, they're in the end zone. It's 28-31. This is now officially a thriller, B-Gold. We get the ball back. 3 plays later, we punt. And when we punt, there's a brutal-looking play where Geno Smith is trying not to take the big play, not to turn the ball over, takes a huge loss. He doesn't throw the ball away, and thankfully this becomes probably the smartest play that he could have made under the horrible circumstances.
Oh, no.
Get me
no,
out.
no,
Go ahead,
no.
Hit me. Let's go.
No.
Let's go.
No, it was wrong way, Geno Smith. He went 17. He should have thrown the ball. All he had to do was get it back to the line of scrimmage. What do you mean that's the best he could have did? He choked.
Aside from throwing the ball away, that was the best he could have done was not turn the ball over.
No, there was no way he could turn it over. He's running with it.
He runs into the end zone and gets a safety. We talked about safeties last week. It was a frightening play. I'll straight up be honest with you.
Yes, Cap.
It was frightening. We did not like that.
We'll go with your analogy.
All right. So anyway,
my goodness.
They get the rock back, and then they end up getting a field goal on their drive and tying it up 31-31 right before we have to go into forced overtime. We go into overtime, B Gold. And 9 plays later, after we do win the toss, and we did call tails like you always say we should.
Yes.
Something remarkable happens, and I think it's time to break it on down because we get our first taking it to the house segment. It's a walk-off segment.
And we'll get to that.
We will.
Yes.
All right.
So what I will say
I'll
is,
just say the Seahawks won the game 37-31.
Yes.
We have progress we can still make on defense. We played that game without our 2 starting tackles and the folks that stepped in, Forsyth and Curran. Hats off to y'all. Even our rookie got a little work at center. You didn't even know they were in the game, and I'm proud of them guys because they did not disrupt the offense, and we needed it big.
so I know there's been some discussion, and this is just another example. Not because your team won, because I always want them to win. But,
Trenches.
no.
Oh, go. What you got?
Each team needs to get a possession. You can't have a touchdown end the game. The
thing is,
Lions, I know it's the rule,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that's what we're living with right now, but the NFL needs to say, even if you go for a touchdown, the other team needs to get a chance to get a touchdown back. It's got to be fair. That's not
Like college,
fair.
except for the 20-yard
No, because they
start.
start. No.
Yeah.
You need to have the whole drive. Let them kick it down to their 15-yard line. You can't have the luck of a coin toss and be having some momentum end the game. You got to give the other team. And by the way,
you know what?
Even if my team was involved in it, it's got to be that way.
It brings back bad memories of the playoff game with the Bills.
Right. It's got to be.
It doesn't feel right
be
as
that.
a competitor.
It's got to be that way.
Yeah, let them both have a crack at it. I don't have a problem with
you're
that.
flipping a coin.
Yeah.
Now, your defense at the
you.
time had made some adjustments and would have stopped them from my point of view.
I like that.
But
I'm good.
let's play it out.
I'm with you on that.
Okay.
And that concludes the recap. Seahawks are 1-1, and we're going to keep trying to push forward.
And much better than the 0-2 Vikings.
You guys are right there, though. It's just a game of
you
inches.
can't have 6 fumbles.
It's a game of inches.
Yeah, exactly. 13 wins last year by 1 score or less. This year, the closed demon is coming back together.
Yeah, well, we need our kicker not to turn into Blair Walsh.
And
you can't have it.
Yeah, right. And your quarterback just to maintain what he did last year.
One play,
Not
yeah.
this year. Well, he's been a little...
He was spot on in this game. Well, 80%. I don't have his percentage, but I think he was at 80.
well,
I mean, who's doing that?
yeah, well, we'll see.
Geno Smith is doing it.
I know your
The Emerald
fantasy
Lantern.
your fantasy squad is telling us when you're starting Geno Smith over Patrick Mahomes.
I did it in week 1 thinking I could get some lightning in a bottle, and we confirmed that the bottle
Was
was
it lightning in
empty.
a bottle? Was because the man you
for the
love,
for week 1.
and you were protecting
The man
Russell.
I love
You
is
were
above,
you were
bro.
protecting a former quarterback last week during our
Protecting,
recap.
just keeping it real, like we try
Russell
to do out
Wilson.
here. That's all we do.
When
Just
was
keep
the
it
last time
real.
Russell Wilson won a game?
I don't keep track of that man's record.
Yes, you do. You keep track of everything else. Are you kidding me?
I'm worried
Come
about the
on
Hawks,
now.
man. I was just breaking
Come
down
on.
facts.
Yeah, no, you were. You had no
I
facts.
was just dropping facts. That's all I was doing.
You were dropping love. And it wasn't Jordan Love. And that's
funny.
okay.
That's funny.
That's okay.
Dropping love. That is hilarious.
That's okay. All right.
All right, let's see what's up. What's next?
Let's get into the open items. And I have one, so let's get to the open item number 1. Let's roll the video for the coming to Jesus moment.
On 3rd down, Smith, pressure comes late and it's incomplete. That pressure coming from Aaron Donald. On 3rd down, Smith, pressure comes late.
There's give me some more volume. There's your coming to Jesus moment.
Listen.
Oh my God. Aaron Donald is running right at me.
You know what? I can't blame Gino for saying that. Now, when I first saw that clip and heard the audio, I was like, is he mad at the rookie for running the wrong route?
No.
And then I'm like, no. Aaron Donald is running free, and he still punched him in the head later on in the game.
So I guess what I'm going to ask you is, how come you didn't bring that to our attention?
Why would I?
Of course.
That's just those old linemen on that play got a minus on their score.
Why wouldn't you bring the Geno Smith response to our attention?
Why
you
would
knew
I?
it was all over the media. You knew we were going to find it.
I don't mind that you
But
found
you
it.
knew we were going to find it. You were like,
doesn't
no,
bother me.
but just admit it. You were hoping that we missed it.
No, it doesn't bother me.
But you were hoping we missed
It
it.
doesn't bother me. Now, I don't know if he's given some comments on why he said that.
Yes.
But I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear it.
But you...
I thought it was like, yo, run the right route, rookie.
But you knew we were going to bring it, and you tried. You said, you know what?
No, I didn't know I was gonna bring
come
it.
on.
It's all good. I like that you added that cayenne pepper to the show.
All right,
for
we
you.
thought it was a moment that we should
No,
at
that's
least
good,
at
'cause,
least let the fans know.
Yeah, because we got Kurt last year with his car and the jewelry and stuff, so that's good.
We did.
Yeah, we have fun on this show.
We got
You
the
haven't noticed.
Kirko cousins last year.
Kirkmobile.
All right, let's move on to the news segment. Thanks, Mike, for putting that all
That was
together.
good. I'm actually glad we preserved that.
New segment by the numbers. Number 25. Vikings have worn number 25. I'm going to save some time for the show. These guys, Dean Darby, Terry Dillon, Larry Vargo, John Charles, Jackie Walls, Kirk Knopf, Marcus Green, Daryl Smith, Alonzo Hamden, Venice Green, Albert Jackson, Chris Dishman, Eric Kelly, Terrence Shaw, Will Hunter, Tank Williams, great name. Who the heck are you? Tyrell Johnson, J.M. Price. That's nobody's. And then what I got Theo Jackson, who picked off a pass this week, first year with the Vikings. Alexander Madison, who had the number before he changed it this year. And Latavius Murray. And finally, Nate Allen, who was a cornerback against the Raiders in the fourth Super Bowl. So Theo Jackson had a good pick this week. You're eliminated. Latavius Murray had a couple of years with us, but nothing spectacular. Alexander Madison has been a backup for 3 years. The first 2 weeks of this year say he should continue to be a backup. Nate Allen.
Wow.
Nate Allen
Watch
gets
yourself, man. They're coming for you.
Nate Allen gets
Holy
the nod because going through history, he was the first prominent number 25 for the Purple as a defensive back. He joined the Vikings in 76. His sixth season in the NFL, he started on a team that went to the Super Bowl against the Raiders that season, and he had 3 interceptions. So Nate Allen takes my number 25 for the new segment by the numbers. Number 25. What say you,
Well
Cap,
done.
for the Seahawks number 25?
I say the Seahawks had quite a few people wearing number 25 as well, so let's run through them. Jamar Adams, not one game tracked. Robert Blackman, he played in about 45 games. Not getting it, though. Mark Collins, Don Dufek, Rich Gardner, Michael Harden, David Hollis, Travis Homer. You might remember him.
I do.
Kenny McIntosh. He's a rookie. Brian Russell, Rick Sanford, no relation to Fred and Lamont.
I was going to go there. Lamont and Fred, yes. I'm coming to you, honey.
And he's not from St. Louis.
I'm coming to you, honey.
Dallas Smith, Lamar Smith, Reggie Tongue, Brian Walker, and a young man out of Stanford University named Richard Sherman, a.k.a. Big Perm, Super Bowl winner, lockdown corner, not afraid of Tom Brady in his prime. How do you not give it to Big Perm? Big Sherm.
Well, you know what? There was no competition on that list, dude. Now, he would have got it anyway.
He will be a Hall of Famer, too.
He would have got it anyway, but I mean,
Hats off, Sherm.
There's no competition.
Hats off, Sherm. Let's get it.
All right, let's move to the fun facts. Great. Richard Sherman's a great player. Let's move to the fun facts. Fun fact number 1.
I know you're gonna dig this.
The Minnesota Striking Vikings have been around for 63 seasons
That's quite a few.
and have made the playoffs 31 times.
Wow.
That's almost 50%.
It is. That's a good percentage.
Where's that skull horn? Thank you, Top Gun. Fun fact number 2.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Justin J.J. Jefferson has now reached the 5,000-yard mark in receiving, making him the fastest player ever to reach that milestone in NFL history.
Hats off to JJ. One of my favorites.
And finally, I have a not so fun fact. Fun fact number 3.
I know you gonna dig this.
Our rookie wide receiver, Jordan Addison, has a chance to make history this weekend. He could be the second Viking in team history and only 31 players in the NFL to catch a TD pass in his first 3 games.
Wow.
The other Viking to do that was a guy who played for both teams, Mr. Percy Harvin.
Wow. I was thinking Randy.
Randy didn't play for the Seahawks.
Nope, he didn't, but he should have.
He should.
We got
Agreed.
your other guy,
I
Sidney.
think you had a chance to draft him before we drafted him.
Don't tell me that. Let's not even go there.
Open
right
item. Open
Did
and
we
Cat. This
pass
is
on
on you.
Did we
want to
pass
see
on
the
Randy
draft
Moss?
year. This is for you.
All right.
The draft year that Moss went to the Vikings. Who did the Seahawks take?
Let's find out if we passed on Randy.
Top Gun. Find that now. find the year that Randy Moss was
better not
drafted
have
and
passed
see.
on that
We
man.
want to know who that Seahawk is.
I do.
Oh my goodness, gosh!
we
I
have
hope it was
better
DJ Dallas or somebody like that.
Those two don't even intersect. What are you doing?
I'm
God.
saying somebody like
That's
that.
hilarious.
All right.
All right, what you got? What else you got?
Well,
More fun facts?
but while you're looking that up, Top Gun, just give me that horn one more time. Not so fun fact number 1.
Not so fun fact.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're supposed to go, I know you're going to dig this.
I was waiting for some down music.
Oh, no. It's always, I know you're going to dig this.
I know you gonna dig this.
Mr. Captain Kirk Cousins
Oh boy.
is the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 700 more yards on a 70% completion rate over the first 2 games of a season and ending up losing both times.
That's brutal.
So stop blaming Captain Kirk. He's not going to be with us after this year. I'm okay with that. But you've been killing him. And wherever he goes, you're going to continue to kill him. You killed him in Washington.
They did.
You killed him in Minnesota because he makes the money. That's why they kill him. But he
it's
does
the
do
life
the
of a
prime thing.
quarterback.
He doesn't play defense.
They're under a microscope at all times.
He is the top 3 rated quarterback after 2 weeks, and they're 0-2.
Yeah.
And he has no protection.
He can't tackle. He's not out there
The
tackling,
middle
right?
of the line doesn't protect him.
Yeah, he needs to.
We're on a 3rd string left tackle, a 2nd string center, and 2 guards who don't belong in the league.
and they're protecting your big
And
money item.
they're protecting him.
Big ticket item.
Exactly.
Oh boy, that's too bad.
Okay. So we don't have any ridiculous article or comment of the week, though I'm sure I could have found one. So we're moving on to a segment that is one of my favorites. And you know what? No matter whether the Vikings or the Seahawks have some skin in this segment, this is one of my favorite segments. So let's take it to the house. House music. Welcome to the 479, the home of the rhythm and the rhyme. We'll never bow down to the other shows. The 479 is the one that knows. Not followers. We are leaders, exceeders, sharp as cleavers. As Snap would say, don't believe the hype. Ours is the show that's the prototype. The 479 is for sure legit. Can I get a witness? We make the picks during the show, making you the money, as you know. Helping you pick your fantasy squad. Back in the day, it was Ahmad Rashad. Lynch, Largent, Target, and Moss. With them in our lineup, there was no loss. HOUSE, 479 is where we be. The deal, the booth, and the gun. Sharing our knowledge, having some fun. Thanks for hanging
31 on the road. Seahawks have the ball. It's overtime, baby, with a chance to close it out. Geno Smith takes the snap. He sits back in the pocket. He rolls to the right from some pressure. He sees the most polished receiver in the league, Tyler Lockett. Tyler dives for the pylon. He believes he scored. The team starts to celebrate. Everybody's wondering what's going on, except the Seahawks. Right now, the refs are reviewing it to make sure it's legit. Dan Campbell, the coach of the Lions, is in utter shock, while the Seahawks are experiencing utter euphoria. Pete Carroll is happy. Dan Campbell is sad. The refs make their decision, and it's affirmative. Geno throws a rope to number 16, the most trusted hands in the National Football League. He gets that ball. He turns that shoulder upfield. He's pushed. He dives. He sells out. Touches the pylon. That's all that's needed, B. Gold. That's all that's needed. That's heart. That's the first take on the Taking It to the House segment on the Captain and the Real Deal podcast, baby. Let's go.
All right, we got some breaking news this week. As I suggested last week during my recap of the Vikings loss to the Eagles, management has finally heeded my advice and signed free agent guard Dalton Risner, formerly the Broncos, to a 1-year, $4 million contract. He will start this week.
You called it, too. You called it.
That's why I'm here.
And they're paying attention.
Somebody's paying attention.
They paid attention to your coach last year that you did not like, and he's been given a one-way ticket to wherever he wanted to go.
Exactly.
Compliments of the Minnesota Vikings and the Real Deal.
Exactly. All right. So let's get no Real Deal rant of the week, but we have a little outside the box with the Real Deal. The Vikings have the fewest rushing yards through the league for the first 2 weeks, posting 69 rushing yards on 26 attempts. For a 2.7 yards, you know I bring the data.
Oh, I know you do bring it.
2.7 yards per carry this season. The hope was the heavier personnel package, including 2 tight ends, would create more yardage and versatility and shore up blockers in the running game. Madison is not at fault, and here's why. According to the ESPN fact checkers, Madison gained just 0.95 yards before contact on his 19 carries this season.
He's killing me in fantasy.
But that does not match up with the league's average. The league average is 2.7 yards before you get contact. That tells me what I've been talking about, which is why Risner is here.
Right.
That the O-line is giving him a 1.5 yards less before he's even getting hit.
Yep, no chance to even react.
Now, that's okay. What I will say is there's been a lot of media speculation saying we should have never got rid of Dalvin Cook and that should be fixed. Madison is at least falling forward. Cook. Somebody send me Cook's numbers because he's getting cooked. He's going the wrong way.
Comparison.
Cook always goes backwards before he goes forwards. Last week he had 4 carries for the Jets for -2 yards. This is a guy you're paying $10 million a year to? What are you, nuts? So Madison, yes. Is he having some problems? But yes, it's the offensive line or how we're running the schemes or the calls. Are we pulling the guard? Are we running outside? What are we doing to protect this guy? What are we doing to give him? Because if you're going from 2.5 to 0.9, you are at a disadvantage. So until you correct that, do not judge Madison. Now, I will say this. He is not the long-term solution.
But he's good, though. Like the talent that we've seen, it's not coming out.
It's not coming out. So I will just leave it at that, and we'll move on. We'll study it, and we'll talk about it next week.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's move on to the team trivia segment, which Cap introduced last week, and it was really fun. So each week, we're going to come up with 3 multiple-choice questions for the other individual and see how well they do. And if not, well, they're either going to be some homework to do, or they're going to, if it's an obvious one, we're going to, well, I should have known that one. So, Cap, what say you? Or you know what? Or you want to go 1 for 1? You want to go 3 for 3?
Let me go 3 for 3 because if this works out correctly, depending on what you say, we might have an audible alert.
Okay.
All right. So here's the first one for the Viking Nation and the Scolders. And everybody out there that's a Viking fan, feel free to jump in here too.
That would be Cruz, right?
One of many, yeah. So here's the question. Who caught the winning touchdown in the Miracle at the Met? And there are 4 options. Sammy White, Chris Carter, Anthony Carter, Ahmad Rashad.
Ahmad Rashad.
Let's find out. That bell's a little weak, but it is what it is.
But I liked it.
That's still
you got
affirmative.
I like that. We got to keep that going.
Ahmad in the last 2 minutes included a 46-yard Hail Mary pass that he caught with one hand on the last play of the game. And it should be noted.
Go ahead.
Should be noted that he's tied to the Emerald City.
But just so you know,
What?
I went to the Miracle and Mets celebration. How would
you did,
How
yeah.
would I not get that
No,
right?
dude, when
he
it comes
was
to
at
trivia,
the table.
When it comes to trivia, I mean, what is that thing they do when you go to like a place where they serve beer and or adult beverages and soda and food, and they have that trivia thing that they have the whole area playing? I forget what that's called. Trivia something.
Whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever.
I mean, you'd be dangerous at that
Trivia
game.
Mania. I do very well at the music ones.
All right, so here's the next question for you, Scolders. Who did the Minnesota Vikings play in their first Super Bowl? The Raiders, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, or the Steelers? Is this another softball?
So the Raiders was the last one. Raiders was the last one. It wasn't the Chiefs.
And the Dolphins and the Steelers are the other two.
It was the Dolphins.
Let's find out. Survey says
Oh, it wasn't the Steelers?
no. It has to see. No. Let's try. Chiefs or Raiders? Which one?
I'm sorry. It was Hank Stram and the Chiefs.
First
Oh,
Super
man,
Bowl.
yes.
Yeah, the old school.
But it wasn't the first Super Bowl. It was the first Super Bowl for the Vikings.
Who did the Vikings play in
Yes,
their
it was
first Super Bowl?
It was Hank Stram and the Chiefs, and Hank Stram says, "I got Kasuki spinning around all the time." Yes, it was the Chiefs because we actually won. That was prior to the AFC and NFC. I shouldn't say the AFL and the NFL combining, and we actually were the champions of the NFL. And yes, we played the Chiefs. So my bad because
That's all good.
The question was a little off for me, but yes,
Maybe I didn't read it correctly.
No,
but
that's fine.
It says under wet conditions, the Chiefs dominated the Super Bowl by limiting the Vikings' offense to 67 yards and forcing 3 picks and 2 fumbles.
Yeah, Hank Stram had a great game plan, and by the
That's a
way,
rough
we
day.
were heavy favorites. So yes, it was the Chiefs. I should never have gotten that one wrong. Man, I'm going to my grave on that one.
All right, let's find out. Is this a good one for you? Yeah. Which Minnesota Viking was the first offensive lineman ever to be selected first overall? Randall McDaniel, Steve Hutchinson, Ron Yeri, or Ed White?
Ron Yeri.
I would take that pick too. Let's see if that's accurate. Ron Yeri, 1968, one of the few Vikings players to play in all of the team's Super Bowl appearances.
Great
and he
player.
was inducted into the Ring of Honor and enshrined in the Hall of Fame in 2001.
Great player.
Well done. Good stuff.
Great player. All right, let's get to, and the Chiefs was going to haunt me. That's a no. That was because there was no Super Bowl back then. That was one of the first. That was one of the I think Super Bowl 3 or 4 where they still kept separate leagues. But that's on me. I got to own that. Yeah, I got to own that because you know what? I got to own it.
No, you're good. You're good.
I will take the hit on that one. Man, that was awful. How did I get that one wrong? All right, so I'll give you a softball.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who was the MVP of Super Bowl 48? Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, Doug Baldwin, or Malcolm Smith?
Malcolm Smith got that free trip to Disneyland.
Malcolm Smith. All right.
He was gone the next year to the Raiders.
I told you it was
more
a
money.
softball.
I appreciate that one. I need at least one right.
All right. How many division titles have the Seahawks won? 4, 5, 6, or 7?
7.
It's 6.
Okay. This year will be 7 then.
Yeah, because you're on 17-0. Yes,
Because I'm
we know.
in the love zone right now. Every
You're
time
in the-
dropping love.
You're in the love zone.
That's
That
funny.
was actually
okay, so it's 6. I
that
know it
was actually a pretty tough question.
Yeah, I knew it was not the first option.
So I'm going to save another softball for next week. So I'll give you this one. In what round of the NFL draft was cornerback Richard Sherman drafted?
5th. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
sorry.
Yes, winner. Because 2nd, 5th, 3rd, or 6th. So 5th is a winner. So you got 2 out of 3. We both got a 2 out of 3, though. I should have dominated that one. How I missed the Chiefs.
No, you don't miss your Vikings trivia either.
You know,
so.
I got to change the water next
You're
week.
known
and do
around the
something
country for nailing Vikings trivia.
Yeah.
So that was an anomaly, folks.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, it's all good. It's fun stuff, and sometimes we overthink stuff, but that's okay. Good stuff. Let's get on to the Week 3 preview for our teams. What do you got? Something?
A couple controversy things I want to run by you really quickly.
Yep.
The Seahawks got flagged for a intentional grounding call.
Yeah, I saw it.
Where
I watched it.
Yeah, the receiver ran the wrong route. It's pretty clear.
I saw that.
They flagged us. What are your thoughts? Because by the nature of the actual penalty in itself, called intentional grounding, I don't think that's a good flag. What do you think?
It was not a good flag. What I will say is that you got to win despite that.
I'm not doubting that at all. That's my line, by the way. I get that. I get that. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
No, my thoughts are I watched the game.
Yeah, I was like,
I watched the game. Now I did go in the hot tub for about 15 minutes of the game, but I was watching it through the screen. My wife goes, "What the heck are you doing?" I'm going, "Well, I gotta watch as much as I can, but I'm trying to enjoy the hot tub." So I took the body out of the water and stuck because it's close enough to peek in the window. But
you saw that?
I got to peek through a screen, so I saw all that. I tried to plan it during halftime to make it work, but I missed a little bit. But it was definitely a wrong route. But the problem is, do we want to put challenges in there for missed calls?
I just didn't hear if they reviewed it or if they can even review that. I would like to hear
They can't because you'd have to change challenges to say that the refs are just totally idiots.
I want to hear what the head ref said. Like, did that ref take a hit?
He's not going to say anything. And the league's not going to talk about it because you know what? At the end of the day, it's a judgmental call.
Okay.
And by the way, Gino was just being a chicken, and he threw it away.
You better pray we don't see y'all. That man is anything but a chicken.
Oh, you want to ask Aaron Donald about that? Oh my God!
That dude ran the wrong route. I'm gonna stick with that. Hey, check it out. Controversy number 2.
All right, go ahead.
So Jared Goff drops back to pass, right?
Yes.
He does a beautiful play fake. His back's to our defender.
Yes.
Our defender, Jared's standing like he's got the ball. He's looking
Penalty.
downfield.
Yeah, I saw it. Penalty.
He blasts him, and he thinks he's got a sack. Now, is that roughing the passer?
Yes, it is because he didn't have the ball in his hands.
So what?
Then
why is he faking like he got it?
You can go with the spirit of the game that changed them, but the end result is if you're not smart enough to realize the ball's gone, you're going to get penalized.
How can't you give the quarterback compliments for his play fake though?
You can, but you can't get blasted for it.
Why can't he? He thinks he's got the ball. He thinks it's a sack.
There's no thinking involved when it comes to that.
That's controversy.
I saw it, and you know what?
That's controversy.
I saw it, and it's controversy, but in the spirit of the rule, if
it's supposed to be roughing the passer like you're trying to rough the passer. You're playing football. Daryl Taylor's playing football at that point.
But you made a mistake because you didn't recognize the ball was gone.
How's he supposed to know? The guy didn't executed a great
I don't care if it's telepathy or whatever you have to know. That's
weak. I don't like that at all.
But just because the offense,
he ran such a good fake. If you don't want to get hit, don't act like you got the ball.
But the offense, because then the play wouldn't have succeeded. The offense executed properly. By the way, if you reverse that, you would have said, "Man, what a great play fake."
No, I'm just saying.
No, what a great play fake. If you reverse it, what you? Well, let me ask you.
Yeah.
If it was reversed and it was a Seahawk that got blasted, and you got the 30-yard gain and 15 yards, would you be making the same statement?
This is where coaching comes in.
Would you be making? No.
This is where coaching comes in. Yeah.
No.
Once the ball's gone, stop.
You always
drop them hands.
You always go off the rails on this.
If he takes the shot, I can understand it. Is what I'm saying. I played DN before.
But you'd be okay with Russell Wilson being possibly a season-ending surgery.
It could happen. But how's the defender supposed to know though? They don't know.
Pick your head up.
That's my point, and we got to do this again. This is a shout out to Prince.
Pick your head
up. Controversy segment. We bring it to the table. We challenge it.
and that's okay. I get it. And you know,
that's a tough call for a defender.
No, but that's a great thing to put up. But you could do everything is subjective.
Yeah.
So or even holding,
they called the flag. We took a hit on that too. So
but even holding, everybody holds on everybody play, but it's subjective.
Yeah.
What's the flow of the game?
That was a bad.
What's the flow of the game? What's going on? Even the low hits. What is subjective?
Yeah.
We're playing football. You know what? If you want to get out there and you want to get 4, 5, 6, 17, 30, 45, $70 million a year They make sure you sign a high enough contract so if you're done for 1 year, you make enough money.
Put a red jersey on them.
Yeah,
Just don't let us hit them on defense.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm turning the game off after that.
We're gonna be playing sandlot ball again.
We'll
be back in the sandlot.
You know what we'll be doing then? We'll be doing pickleball podcasts. That's what we'll be doing after that, where you can't hit anybody.
All right, I want to bring those up. Thanks for entertaining that.
But I did see the play, and I get your frustration, but, come on.
Yeah, okay, cool.
All right, let's get to the Vikings Week 3 preview. Chargers Vikings. Vikings look to get in the win column at home against a winless but very talented Chargers squad. The Vikings are currently riding a 3-game winning streak against the Chargers, including 2 games in Los Angeles. This will be the first time hosting the Chargers since the 2015 contest. The Chargers actually played in the first game to be hosted at US Bank Stadium, a preseason contest back in 2016. Gonna be a tight game, and both teams are desperate. I originally had the Vikings hanging on for a 27-26 for their first win, but I'm thinking about this. I'm giving it some thought.
Let's talk about it.
If, in fact, we lose this game and go to 0-3, and this is where I'm going to fit this in. We go to 0-3, there comes a time in a franchise's life where you have to make a decision.
And week 3 is that time?
And you will not ever admit it. Meaning,
let's hear it.
You're not allowed to ever use the word tank. You're never allowed to use, we're just exploring players. But if we lose to the Chargers, we have to think about getting in that franchise quarterback. Now, Caleb Williams from USC is supposed to be a no-lock future quarterback. Deion Sanders' son.
Oh, Shadur.
Is awesome. But, however, according to an article this week, he never let the Vikings draft him because of what they did to Mike Zimmer. But they didn't do it to Mike Zimmer.
Why is he loyal to Zimmer?
Deion Sanders, Zimmer was his coach when he came into the league.
Oh, so they got that?
But it has nothing to do with Vikings. It had to do with Rick Spielman, who's not with us. That was just an article put out there. If you get drafted number 1 by any team, you're going to play in. I shouldn't say that. That's happened in the past with quarterbacks.
Well, it has. Let's talk about
Peyton Manning.
The young Peyton Manning, exactly.
Peyton Manning. So, this is the year
to
get
his
our
brother, San Diego.
Exactly. This is the year to get our franchise quarterback. If, in fact, we start 0-3, I'm going to be pining for the rest of the year to go like 2-15 or 3-14 because
Top Gun.
Here's why. You only get one. I'm going to be 61 this year. You get only a few opportunities to get a franchise quarterback. If you're picking 20 or 25 all the time, you're never going to get that opportunity unless you give up 3 or 4 year capital of draft picks. Now, I am not pushing the panic button. If we win this week, we move on and we middle signing somebody. But if we lose, all bets are off and I might reposition myself. So I'm going to say the Vikings hang on to a 27-26 win this week, but I will pivot next week if this does not happen.
If you guys lose, I mean, I'm sensing that call to abandon the ship. I mean,
yeah,
you're not considering abandoning ship, are you? Where's that captain
yes,
at?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
Are the books in your house just plain?
Yes.
Don't abandon the ship, brother.
All hands on deck.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Abandon ship.
Come on now.
Yes.
Don't give that order.
Oh, yeah. I will play that.
Trust me, there's
By the
no
way,
turning back.
Before I do this segment of my picks, that will come out every week.
There's no turning back.
If we lose this week.
Don't hit that button.
If we lose
It's
this
too
week.
early, brother.
If we lose this week, no team has ever come back from 0-3 to even make any kind of progress, any kind of.
That's a challenge. Rewrite history.
No. Get me a franchise quarterback. Cousins is not signed bad this year. Look,
this is awesome.
I'm a realist.
Okay.
I'm not a.
You don't ride on the love boat.
I'm not the Rosie train.
You don't ride on the love boat.
I'm not on the love boat. No. If you talk about the Minnesota love boat, that's a whole bad boat.
You're on the mad boat.
No, not a mad boat.
Yeah, I know.
I only have so many clicks on the clock left to win a Super Bowl.
I hear you.
And if this is a reset, if this is a reset year,
I got you.
It will be. I will be spewing all year. Dump this guy.
Oh, I can't wait.
So let's get. I'll start right this week.
Let's get some.
I'll get right this week before we give you the recap.
Let's stack some
Harrison Smith Been a great player, an exceptional long-term Viking, exceptional safety.
Here it comes.
But he's slowing down, and he's playing this year in Brian Flores' defense, and he's doing okay.
That's not what you want.
But give me a draft pick for him. If we're going to tear it down, get rid of him, get rid of Danielle Hunter, keep the offensive pieces. Flores is doing great, and we have some young pieces. But if we can get some capital, Cousins ain't coming back next year. If he comes back next year, I'll embrace it, but he better come back for some kind of low salary that we can get other people on board. We will rehash this as we move forward, but I'll take the Vikings 27-26. Get me back in the playoff hunt. We're one game out of the division. We're in okay, but if you lose to the Chargers this week, let's rip it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard him right here on the Captain and the Real Deal podcast. That's B Gold breaking it down, being real, keeping it real.
Abandon ship!
I'll jump in first.
No, the captain ain't on the boat. He got to go in last. All right, I got you. I feel you. All right, well, I guess it's time for me to break into the Seahawk forecast, if you will.
Yes.
So let me get to my notes for our game. We play the Carolina Panthers. We're not unfamiliar with them. They come in sporting a 0-2 record. The game will be played in our house at Lumen Stadium. As they look for an extremely important NFC Conference win, so do we. We've played these guys a total of 15 times together so far. We have the lead in the overall record of 10 and 5 losses. We know what we have to do. They know what they have to do. But the bottom line is the Seahawks have to keep the momentum from last week. I don't know if we're going to get our starting tackles back or not, but even if we don't, last week, and I wanted to say this earlier, I saw brilliant play calling from both our offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, and the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. I mean, I saw different formations, nice play action. He threw the screens out of our playbook, and he added in draws. Remember the draw play? Did you ever play Tecmo Bowl back in the day? What a heck of a play. That thing worked. So I thought we got the 3 tight end set in the backfield. Did you see that? I mean, we're doing some different things and it's effective, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. We just need the defense to catch up. I think they're doing that, and I think we have a chance to get right against Carolina.
We need a chance to get it right. They stink.
I don't say any NFL team stinks. I thought Arizona stunk, and they don't.
You didn't play Arizona.
They fought twice hard. So nobody in the NFL stinks. They're getting paid.
Carolina
like you said.
Stinks.
Y'all didn't hear that from the captain.
Yeah. You're gonna win 40-3 again, so like last week.
We'll see if the young Bryce Young quarterback there, your Adam Thielen, who I believe got a touchdown last week, is going to help.
And they also said he couldn't separate from the defender, so he got lucky.
They played a tough Saints team at home on Monday night, and they took the L.
Saints ain't tough.
So I'm taking my Seattle Seahawks to win that game 31-14.
31-14. Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking 37-10.
I'll take that. That means the defense tighten up even more. I think we should have.
Is it the defense tighten up or the Carolinas that bad?
We should create some problems for the rookie quarterback, especially playing in the front of the 12s. I don't know if he's ready for that. We're going to find out, though.
Well, when you play in front of the 12s, how did they do with Matthew Stafford?
I said this is a rookie here.
Oh, okay.
Matthew Stafford is a polished veteran.
But he didn't have Cooper Kupp.
That's on him.
He had two rookies.
That rookie had another big game last week, too.
But he had 2 rookies that just,
it is what it is. We have rookies. Oh, speaking of rookies, Devon Witherspoon, our number 5 draft pick overall, he made his debut with us, and he had some good plays, he had some bad plays, but I'm really excited about what I'm seeing with that young fella.
Good.
Yeah, he'll polish up.
Yeah, he'll polish up. All Seahawks polish up.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
And you signed a former...
Artie Burns.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. He was on our practice squad, and he played in some games already this year, but he's elevated to the 53 now.
But when you say played, 5 plays or less don't count.
He played a little bit more than 5 plays.
No, he didn't. But
he's productive, and we're happy to have him. Yeah. And we are ready to move, aren't we?
To
where are we going, brother?
Let's get to the rest of the picks.
Let's do it.
Yo, it's time for the picks, the weekly predictions by them guys. Get your notebooks out because they rarely miss. Make way for Captain Book when he makes his picks. You can't touch this dude. Reppin' Hawks in the Emerald Nation. All units, battle stations. So welcome to the battle zone. It's a place where Captain Book is never alone. With his guy, be gold by his side. Sporting purple, always ready to ride. A real Viking maniac.
never afraid to go on the attack. And when needed, in comes the real deal. He's got a real feel for NFL skill. So listen close and get the word. Don't be the one who hadn't heard about Captain Book and Blue Gold. Dropping knowledge, truth be told. Pico picks, battle tested.
We can't touch this dude. Obviously, we can't touch this dude because Cap had 12 wins and 4 losses, and I had 9 wins and 7 losses. So the yearly totals are the real deal 16 and 15, and Cap is 19 and 12. So let's get to the rest of the game. Start with the Thursday game. Giants at the 49ers. 49ers slay the Giants 30-20. Cap, what say you?
The San Francisco 49ers will conduct an old-fashioned Wild West holdup on the Giants and shake them down for everything they have. 34-14. No Saquon Barkley, no bueno, B-Gold.
34-14. All right, let's move on to the Colts at the Ravens. I got the Ravens lassoing the Colts 24-16.
All right, the Colts and the Ravens. The Ravens keep their momentum after a tough win against the Bengals and spread their wings against a Colts team who has lost their most dangerous weapon that's been dinged up and can't recover in time. The Ravens will claw and shred the Colts into itty-bitty pieces, winning at home 34-7.
34-7. Wow. Okay.
I almost dropped the 40 burger, but there might be one coming for you.
All right. Titans at the Browns. Browns had a tough injury this week. So I almost had them I had them dismembering the Titans 23-16. And I'll stick with that. I'll stick with that. Because they did sign Kareem Hunt.
All right, I'm glad this is short for me. Tennessee will make Cleveland remember them as the Titans, went on the road 28. I meant to put 10. It says 1 here, but 28-10.
I'm glad I got you laughing.
Yes, sir.
All right,
it's not hard to do.
Falcons at the Lions. I got the Lions mauling the Falcons 31-23.
All right, let's go get that one. Where's my Atlanta game at?
That's all right. Scroll on down.
Scroll on down the road.
Scroll on down the road.
Who's Atlanta playing?
Lions.
Detroit. Where y'all at? Oh, God. Did I just wipe them off the map because we beat them last week?
Who are you picking, Lions or Falcons?
I'm picking Detroit.
Detroit, well, we don't even need a score. Let's go.
Yeah, Detroit Lions get that
Next
done.
week, you're going to get penalized.
All right. Oh, no, I get it. Detroit gets back on track.
All right.
I was right at home with the mauling of the Lions in the Lions' den.
All right.
Beating the Falcons 24-21.
24-21.
There's your score.
All right, we got the Saints at the Packers.
Yes.
This one was a tough one for me to call, and I haven't picked it up until right now. So, I just think Green Bay at home finds a way. I'm going to go 20-18.
All right, I say the Saints go marching into Green Bay to hand Justin Love and his Packers their first loss of the season in the Cheese Factory. Saints 34-31. It will be a good one, though.
Wow,
just like you said.
No defense in that one.
No, they're going to be firing it up.
Texans at the Jaguars. The Jaguars get back in the win column 27-16.
All right, let's go. Why are these not in order?
Jaguars, Texans.
Hold up. Come on. What is the deal here? Come on, Houston. Where are you? Houston, we have a problem. Where did it go?
This is why old school paper works.
Agreed. Well, Houston's going to lose, so I'm not going to go there.
Exactly. So you got Jacksonville.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville.
How about 55-10?
Go ahead if you want. Go ahead. I'll take it.
All right. Broncos at the Dolphins. The Dolphins keep the Broncos and Cap's favorite quarterback, Russell Wilson, winless 26-23.
My favorite quarterback plays for the Seahawks. Let's just get that real clear.
No, he does not.
Yeah, Miami makes
Drew Lock?
Miami makes life painful for the Broncos, and they're going to stir a media frenzy between the Sean Payton, who I think actually does not like Russell Wilson, and I saw some articles.
I told you that last week.
I know.
And you didn't believe me.
Hey, it is what it is.
But you did the research after I said
it. I did, and I found like 3 articles.
Don't like him.
Hey, I don't think he likes him.
You don't like him.
So, but he stuck with him. So it's one of the marriages where people are happy.
No. He's just trying to prove his point.
Not
But what do you got? What do you got for Miami?
I got 35-10.
35-10.
Yep.
Russ is not cooking.
Dolphins.
All right. Vikes 27-26 and a nail biter for me.
Minnesota At home, they finally get off the snide and beat a game Chargers team by rallying up and forcing their enemy out of the house. The Vikings will lead the Chargers, get this, brother, in a purple haze. They're going to win 28-17 at home. They're coming off the snide this week.
28-17.
Yep.
I'm shooting for that number 1 pick. Patriots.
I'm not.
Patriots at the Jets. This is an up in the air game, but Belichick confuses Zach Wilson, and the Pats win on the road 20-17.
Yeah, New England Patriots go into the Meadowlands and secure a road victory for their first win of the season. I think it'll be tight, though. They're going to beat the Jets 21-20.
21-20. All right, Bills at Commanders. Pretty easy one. Bills win on the road 28-20.
Yeah, Buffalo with momentum going to the nation's capital and take command of the Washington Commanders with a convincing win 41-20 to put themselves back on the competitive map, B Gold.
All right, let's move on to the Panthers at the Seahawks.
I already broke that down, but I'll hit it again.
I got the Seahawks winning at home 27-20. The Panthers, they're just too young.
Well, they are young, and they do need to get more help for that young man, but that's not our problem on Sunday. I got us winning at 31-14, as I said earlier in the forecast.
All right, hope you don't lose that game because it'll be a tough...
If it is, it's part of football. We got to move on.
Well, it'll be a tough podcast next week.
Not for me.
Yes, it will.
Yeah,
If you lose, are you kidding me?
It'll be
calling me.
painful.
Do we really have to do this week? Can we shut it down and take a week off?
Forget that. I have to shut it down over a loss? I've been through
Against
worse.
the Panthers?
I've been through worse.
Against the Panthers? Me and Wilson could beat that team.
All right, where you at?
All right, Cowboys at the Cardinals. Cowboys destroy the Cardinals 30-13.
Yeah, Cowboys circle the wagons as they invade the Cardinals in Arizona and pull the heist of the week, B Gold. Cowboys with bandanas covering their faces will raid the Cardinals and leave their safe empty before heading back to Texas on horseback. Cowboys 30, Cardinals 0.
What is it, 40-0?
30.
Oh, 30.
Yeah, I didn't give you the 40 burger there.
All right. Phew. All right, Bears at the Chiefs. Are we even talking about this? Chiefs bury the Bears 34-7.
Kansas City Chiefs will successfully go bear hunting at home on Sunday as they chop up the Bears in a decided victory as Mahomes and company get back on the right track and stay there. Chiefs 37-14. They get the dub.
All right, Steelers go to the Raiders.
Pittsburgh.
8 o'clock.
The Berg.
This is another toss-up game. I'm going to go with the Steelers on the road, 23-20.
The Pittsburgh Steelers do a Vegas takeover that would make the Rat Pack proud as they dominate the Las Vegas Raiders on the gridiron and then dominate the Strip until the coach tells them to board the plane home and get back to the Steel City. Fun will be had as the Steelers light up the marquees in Vegas, bro. Steelers 24-13 on a Sunday night football special.
You've spent some extra time on this.
That's what happens when your kids go to college and join the military and they're out of the house. You got a little extra time.
This is nice. If you could break down your inefficiencies for the Seahawks a little bit more, like this would be great.
It's always coming. It's always coming.
All right, Monday. I like the 2 games on Monday. They should do this all the time.
I love that.
Eagles at the Bucks. The Eagles, come on now. They're going to win on the road, 24-16.
Philadelphia Eagles, Top Gun's hometown, fly into Tampa Bay to provide them with a reality check as they force Tampa Bay to endure their first loss of the year. Eagles fly onto the deck of the Bucks pirate ship and claw everything in sight until the victory is theirs. Eagles soar high as their defense leads them in a convincing win, 37-21.
Again, I'm going to say it again. If you could put this much effort into other stuff in our podcast, my goodness.
I'm trying to do what I can.
This is
by
awesome,
piece, bro. Piece by piece.
No, this is awesome. I feel like I'm outplayed.
Negative.
I feel like I went 3. I feel like I went 3 and out.
No, not at all.
All right, final game.
I'm trying to catch up with you.
Rams had the Bengals. The Rams have played well, but the Bengals need to get back on track. I don't know even if Burrow's going to play. And you know, if he doesn't play, they're not going to win. But I'm going to bet that he's going to play. I got the Bengals. You know what? I'm going to stick with the Bengals, 27-24.
Yeah, in the last game of the week, fed up with the media and the venom coming their way, the Cincinnati Bengals are beyond angry, B Gold. Knowing they have a national audience
But Burrow might not
against
play.
the feisty and very game LA Rams squad, the Bengals take damage but hold serve at home. They're going to win a tight one, 28-27. I feel the same way. This is, it's not looking good, but I think they're going to summon enough strength to get this W.
All right, that concludes our picks. Let's move on to the fantasy football segment.
football talk to see which teams can walk the walk. Each week, new matchups take place. All teams gunning for first place. Set your lineups, hope for the best. Your team might be good, but mine's the best. Make trades along the way. Ain't gonna help you, you might wanna pray. To be the best, you gotta beat the deal. Lots of luck, cause my team's for real. Let's get to the segment, start the chat. Hey, Book, what you say about that?
It's Captain Booth, and I'm running on the field like a wild one. Fantasy strategy that is second to none. I'm casting spells like a mad magician. I make so many damn moves, just like a mathematician. Without my fantasy logic, you just be hoping and wishing. And if you don't pay attention, your team will need a mortician. So check out Captain Booth and how I lay down my roster. I'm so dialed there could never be an imposter. With this fantasy ball, this segment's for y'all. So don't miss our calls for your fantasy brawl. This Captain Booth can beat goals to avoid the wreck. For your fantasy success, put our knowledge on deck. It's the fantasy segment. Get in.
All right, we are in. Let's get to the what happened this week. Real deal. Most points for the fantasy team this week. They got a victory. G Hockey got a victory. Connecticut Wagon Circlers went to 2-0. Enforcers got a victory. El Grapador leading the division. Smells What's Cooking got a win. Access Lord got a win. So, Cap, that's after week 2. What do you got for standings? Anything you want to get on?
Just want to run through the East real quick. El Grapador, our own, is on top 2-0. 62% chance to make the playoffs. I believe he will make it. Connecticut Wagon Circlers and the Real Deal are following up with 2nd and 3rd. New Haven Naturals are on the 4th. And then you got the Boardroom, Crimson Knights, and Italian Stallions holding up the basement. In the West, Smells What's Cooking is on top of his game right now. He's 2-0, 61% chance to get into the playoffs. You got the Enforcers also at 2-0. Then you got G Hockey, Connecticut's doing a 1-1 split, tied with the Ohio Bone Crushers and Access Lords and Zeus is Loose, all at 1-1. You got the Emerald Nation Monsterizers on the bottom, but there's no fear. We're going to still be here. That's it.
All right, let's look at the scoreboard for the week 3 matchups. Real Deal against the Boardmen. Zeus against Connecticut Wagons. Naturals against the Stallions. Smells What's Cooking about G Hockey. Access Lord against the Enforcers. Crimson Knights against the top-rated El Grapador team. Emerald Nation Monsterizers trying to get in the victory column against the Ohio Bone Crushers. That concludes our fantasy football segment. That concludes the episode for today. Scolders 12s and all you fantasy football and football fanatics, thanks for tuning in to the podcast today. Tell your friends, families, and coworkers about the show. We're increasing our viewership. The views were the 4th highest forever for an episode this week. So
Let's go.
Keep tuning in. Follow the show. Week 3 for the Vikings, a home game versus the Chargers. The next episode will be the recap for how our teams did. Hey, Cap, bring us home.
Time to shut it down with the prime rhyme time. Here we go. The Vikings must regroup, and it starts at MetLife. Your defense has to put the incoming Chargers on ice. You are both 0-2, so something's got to give. The Vikings offense must treat the Chargers defense as though it were a sieve. When the Chargers defenders run the fill, lower those purple shoulders and pay that bill. The result will be the purple rain that you desperately desire. Minnesota Vikings, get back on track and start that fire. The Emerald Justice League invaded the Motor City. We knew what we had to do. We didn't want any pity. Both offensive coordinators went toe-to-toe like two gladiators, old-time foes. The Hawks let it be known we will fight to the end. An impressive, gritty overtime win. On to the next. Carolina at home. Let's cruise past them like we were in a 1978 Mercury Marquis Brougham. Go Scolders, go Hawks. Quitting laying down cowering, not in the playbook. Hard hats, full lunch pails, baby. That's what we do on the Captain and the Real Deal podcast. This voyage is fantastic.
We out.
Until next time, baby.